I use the term Hotep Hustle to explain a particular form of affinity fraud that happens in our community. So what is affinity fraud? Affinity fraud, as defined by the SEC, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, they state that affinity fraud is when fraudsters who carry out affinity scams frequently are or pretend to be members of the group they are trying to defraud. All right. The group could be a religious group, such as a particular denomination or church, or an ethnic group, or immigrant community. It could be a racial minority. It could be members of a particular workforce. Even members of the military have been targets of these frauds. Fraudsters target any group they think they can convince to trust them with the group members' hard earned savings. All right, so what is the Hotep Hustle then? As I said before, the Hotep Hustle is a form of affinity fraud. All right? The Hotep Hustle is when fraudsters who carry out affinity scams frequently are members of the, or pretend to be, they're either members or they pretend to be members of the African American conscious community. All right? Once again, they are either members of it or they pretend to be members of it. That's why it's the Hotep Hustle. The Hotep Hustle targets members of the conscious community to trust them with their group's hard-earned savings. This is my definition. I'm explaining it to you. And for those of you who are unaware, who are living under a rock, the conscious community is a movement. It's like a lifestyle within the Black community of different pro-Black, Pan-Africanism, organizations loosely associated with each other, who carved out a type of culture that is pro-Black, striving to better the African American community. Okay? The problem is, when it comes to the Hotep Hustle, there are financial predators who look at the conscious community and its members as a target for affinity fraud. Why? The reason why is affinity fraud is extremely effective. All right, let's break this down. Affinity fraud is effective because you are being scammed by someone you trust. You trust them because they're a part of your community, or you believe they are a part of your community. So let's give financial scammers within affinity fraud, the Hotep Hustle. Let me give you an example. See, for a person to be considered a financial professional, right? A financial professional, there's someone who went to school, studied it. They had to get licensed or certified. They have certain ethical obligations to uphold. And if they do scam you or try to take advantage of you, you actually have recourse to actually report them to some sort of governing body, right? To find some remedy so that you can maybe get your money back, or at least get them barred from being able to scam someone else with the credential that they hold, right? The reason why the Hotep Hustle or any affinity fraud is effective is when you have someone who you think is a part of your group, you lower your standards for whatever they claim they're expert in. Think about this for a second. If a man comes to you claiming that he has the cure for cancer, if you don't identify with this person, if they are outside of your community, you're probably going to ask him a lot of questions. One, are you a doctor? Have you been doing research? Who's done any type of study to see the effectiveness of your so-called cure to cancer? You would probably be skeptical of someone that you have no relationship with, someone that shows you absolutely no credentials to be able to do the things that they say they can do. You would be skeptical. The reason why affinity fraud is so effective is that for whatever reason, when someone is a part of our clique, a part of our community, we just drop all the standards that we have for people outside and we just accept it because we want to believe that this person can do the things that they say they can do. That's the problem. Now, in the real world, if someone came to you claiming to be a financial expert, there's common types of financial experts, right? The CFP board, they explain the different types of the most common financial experts out there. You got financial advisors, you got CPAs, you got estate planning attorneys. These are the professionals that you turn to when you have particular needs financially. Maybe you need a tax return prepared, or maybe you're trying to learn how to invest, or maybe you need a will, right? Maybe you need a trust, right? Well, these are the normal professionals that you go to get these things done, to ask them questions. Each one of these type of professionals have gone through a long list of tests and certifications and experience. I mean, you have to go through years of study and practice to be able to have one of these titles. But when it comes to affinity fraud, you don't need any of this stuff. None whatsoever. The Hotep Hustle allows you to sidestep all of the education. It allows you to sidestep all of the tests, the board exams, all of that stuff, the ethical requirements, all of those things. The Hotep Hustle allows you to electric slide around all the regular requirements, and you get to get directly to the people and claim you're an expert.